People, Deluded, I'm back again. I'm here with a special guest. Josh, how you doing, man? Are you in good spirits? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. How you doing?
I'm decent. Like I just said, I mean, my family's got their health. I can't complain, but I'm getting, I'm losing my mind staying at home now. It's difficult staying occupied, but I can't complain, man. You been up to much during lockdown?
Nah, nothing really. Just kicking ball, doing the running what have been set from Greece and PlayStation.
Mm,
Really,
mm, I mean, it sounds quite eventful. You're a FIFA man?
yeah. FIFA, Fortnite, GTA, all of them games there.
I mean, I don't play the others, but FIFA, we can play it. That I can show you a thing or two at that game, man. Yeah. But in terms of like running, and you mentioned running, and I assume you've been set stuff by Birmingham. What sort of stuff
Yeah.
have they set you to do, and how have you gone about doing it, really?
Well, like to do challenges, like some challenges each week. You do like 5K runs, 10K runs, like different like agility and stuff.
Mm,
Really, just drills,
mm.
and
It
then
must
we do
be.
some extra ball
Go,
work.
go on, sorry, I cut you off. Go on.
We do some extra ball work as well, like by myself, one-on-one.
Mm. Sets me up to my next question perfectly. You mentioned ball work. Like, it's difficult. I guess you can't really replicate what you would have done at training or on a match. So what are you doing in terms of ball work, and how are you like just trying to keep ticking over, I guess?
Just to like get cold and that, do practice my dribbling and then some like shooting drills as well. Just go out with my dad, just do
Mm.
some practicing.
How have you found it psychologically? Because you lot season at youth level has been cut off. You're in lockdown. You can't do the drills you want to do, and I mean, all you guys want to do is play football. So how's it been psychologically for you?
It's been hard, but just trying to stay the best in it, really. And stay
Mm,
fit. That's what really keeps me going, really.
mm.
You
How's
just need
it?
to be mentally strong.
That's true. You mentioned mental strength. Let me ask you about how do you feel the season's gone for you this year? Because it could have been going good, it could have been going bad, but through no fault of your own or many footballers, it's just been cut off. So, how's the season going for you as a team, and obviously for yourself as an individual?
As a team, it's going all right, but for myself, I think it's been like a really good season. I started off a bit slow, and then from the downfall, it's been going up, really.
Why did it start slow for you?
So adjusting to stuff really. So it's a full-time program, so it's like a bit harder, and then moving away from home as well. Then digs, so that could have been the reason. So manipulating it around and that, it's kind of hard.
What's it like staying in digs? Let me ask you about that, because obviously you've grown up with your family, and then you're going to live with I assume with teammates, but you're going to live with a whole different family sort of thing.
Yeah.
So what is it like off the field in terms of that?
It's not really like anything. It's like as soon as you go home, it's either you sleep because you're tired, or you're just playing games or chilling with people who you live with, really.
Mm.
So it's all right.
Are you one of them people who gets like really homesick? Because I'm like that. I start missing my mum and stuff the minute I go away from anywhere. Are you able to deal with that, or are you one of them? You just like first port of call, you just want to be back home, man.
And at first, I miss it, then I'll start to get used to it, and then from there, it's all right.
Obviously, how's it been on the field, full-time football, like you mentioned? I imagine it must be a lot to take in physically. You're training every day, sometimes double sessions, gym work and ball work. You've also, I assume, got college work and things like that. So what's it been like as a full-time footballer or as a full-time scholar better yet?
Full times, I actually enjoyed it really. Like, apart from like the college stuff, but you have to just get rid of it. But yeah, it's been really, really good with it.
What's the differences between that and like last year or the year before playing under 16s football? So like for people that like myself haven't been in that situation, what's it like?
Like, because obviously, like we're in like every day apart from Sunday, but in the school, like when we was at school, it's not every day. It's like Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then games Saturday. But now it's full time. It's like you have to like adjust to it because it's like every day, and then like your body's tired, and you have to train through the tiredness and all that. And then like it's like college as well. Like some people don't want to do that, but you have to get through it as well. And then like all the running, the sports science stuff, like it's not new, but it's like you have to get to know what you have to do and like with your body and like what stuff you need to eat and how much sleep you need to get.
That makes sense. So what have you learned about yourself? Like, have you, because I learned, it's through sadly a different experience, but when I was playing football, I got injured and I learned a lot about myself, my body, how I react to stuff. Is there stuff you've learned about yourself through doing all of these things differently, or since you've become a full-time guy?
Yeah, like if stuff's not going right for you, you need to keep going through it until like you get where you need to be, and then keep pushing from there. Really.
Mm, that makes sense. In relation to on the field, what was the biggest shock to you playing full-time football? Sorry, was it like the physicality? Was it the pace of the game? Was it tactically? Was it technically? What was it for you?
Like, cause like we're playing like, so we're under 17s, we're playing in 18 games. Like people like physically stronger than you, quicker than you. So you have to like when you're on the pitch, you have to think quicker than them. Really, that's it. Really.
How obviously, let me press you a bit on the thinking quicker. How is it done in real time? Because, you know, it must be difficult when someone's faster than you, stronger than you. How do you actually think quicker in these situations?
Like, say if like someone's got the ball, you need to like, have a picture before you get the ball, so you need to know what you're gonna do. You just need to like outthink your opponent, really.
Mm. You mentioned something there that I think is a very big gem. You got to see a picture. You've got to outthink your opponent. I know you're a midfielder. What do you think is the most important trait for a midfielder to have, or like for a top midfielder, or for a player that wants to be a top midfielder? What do you think's the goal that the one big trait they've got to have, if anything?
Like probably when you're on the pitch, you need to like know where everything is. Like scan. Just need to like use your head in the game. Really.
Mm. Who do you look to? Like, I won't say idols because I don't necessarily believe in idols, but is there anyone you look at and think, you know, I want to play like him, or I want bits and pieces out of their game, I want to add it to my own?
Like for midfield, I would say like Paul Pogba. He's got like basically everything, and then like football overall, like Ronaldo and that, like his work rate, how much he works off the pitch, on the pitch, just like really.
Mm.
And there's many more players, but I can't go through all of them.
How tough is it, obviously, being in that academy circuit? Because obviously you've done, and I'm quite proud of you. You've done fantastic to go however long you've been at Birmingham, sorry, to getting a scholar. How difficult and pressurized did it? Because I can imagine throughout your journey, you've seen friends be released, people potentially at the club as long as you. I don't know. Hopefully, you've never been close to being released by a club and things like that. But football's filled with setbacks. So what's that sort of like?
Like knowing like because the club's like very talented, like players like really good in it, so like you have to keep working hard. Like you can't get complacent because people can take over you. Like everyone's fighting for the same shirt, so you have to. And friends getting released, like it's hard, but you have to get through it because it's just part of the game, really. And
Mm.
everyone's trying to get to the top.
Mm. Do you remember the first time? Do you remember when you was actually told you were going to be given a scholar?
Yeah, it was just before the Blaze Cup final. I think it was the day before, like 2 days before it.
Mm.
And
Paint a picture for
so
us, man.
excited.
Paint a picture for us. What was the scene? Set the scene for us, man.
Obviously, we had meetings, and then we just got told, and then when I got told it was scholar, I was just over the moon, really. And then the final against Liverpool, Blaze Cup, and then we won that as well. And then everyone was just gassed. Everyone loved it.
What did it feel like to beat Liverpool? Because with all due respect, going into it, a club like Liverpool, with all due respect to Birmingham, you'd probably be seen as the underdogs and things like that. But the
Yeah,
beauty of football, it doesn't matter who you are, what team you are, how much money you've got. It's, you know, whoever scores the most goals, and you lot done that. How did it feel going in? What was your feelings throughout that whole run in the cup? And what was your feelings, obviously, playing Liverpool and being in that game?
right. Before the game, I was nervous, but when I got on the pitch, everything just started playing. And then when we was winning, because obviously at the start of the game, like I was talking rubbish on us, like, "Oh, we're gonna beat you" and all that. And then like from the game, so we didn't say nothing. We just came on the pitch and then showed them really.
Mm. Is that your first Is that your first like sort of happy memory playing football so far?
Yeah, probably. I say that's one of my best ones for
Mm.
football, really.
What was it like playing in the FA Youth Cup?
Very nerve wracking. Like the first game was nerve wracking
How
because
comes?
obviously I'm playing with like older boys, so I can't really explain. Really, it's like just very nervous. But
How do you
when
get
I
over
got playing,
nerves?
I
Sorry,
don't
man.
even know. It's like when I'm playing, like everything just I start to forget about it and then start playing my game. Really.
Mm. How different is it? Because obviously you've gone from when you're playing academy football, you've got your parents on the sideline, you've got coaches. There are people watching the game, but I'd imagine since you've become, a first year scholar, you've seen thousands of fans at some point. Like I can imagine the cup final, there must have been so many people. FA Youth Cup the same. What's it like playing in front of people, hearing the chanting and all of this sort of stuff? Because that's what you guys are ultimately making advancements to do on a full-time daily basis sort of thing as outright pro footballers in the top leagues and stuff.
Like when you see like loads of people, there's like you're just thinking like, wow, like actually like people come to watch us at this age as well. So you just think, wow. But when I'm playing, I just like seem to zone out. So I just feel I just don't really see them on the sides or hear them. So I just zoned out in the game. So that's it really.
That makes sense, man. Obviously, I know how you play. You know how you play, but I'm just bearing in mind my viewers. For someone that's never seen you play before, how would you describe yourself as a player?
I'll say I'm quick, really quick. I like dribbling with the ball, I'm powerful, and I can find the pass as well.
Decent stuff. And like, obviously, in terms of, you mentioned strengths, have you got any weaknesses or things you want to improve on, if not necessarily weaknesses?
Well, I'd like to improve on my shooting, like be more consistent, more goals, and that's it really.
That makes sense, man. That makes sense. Have you always been in the position you play? Have you always played there?
Pardon?
Have you always played in the role you're currently playing in?
No. I play out wide. I play out wide when I'm playing up, but play like in the midfield or like attacking really. And
what's the differences? Because obviously you mentioned playing as you play with the older boys, you're playing out wide. What's the differences between playing out wide and playing in the centre, for beyond the obvious?
like out wide, it's like loads of 1v1s, like you versus the defender. But in midfield, it's like you can be in space, you can build by yourself, you can just like find a pass. But like in midfield, you can like think quicker. But when you're on the wide, you can just express yourself really. I'm not saying that you can express yourself in midfield. You can't express yourself in midfield. You can, but it's more like, if you know what I mean, like it's more.
I know what you mean. It's more designed for the flashy and stuff. Midfield, you can make a mistake and it's all over. How's that changed your game though? Because I mean, I can imagine there must be little bits and pieces you've learned from playing out wide that you've applied playing centrally, or if not that, you've got an appreciation for that aspect of the game. So how's it kind of changed how you play or altered your playing style?
But it kind of made me a better player because like I can play in more than one position. So I can take stuff from midfield and bring it out wide, and then take stuff from wide and bring it in midfield. So like from there really.
That makes sense, man. I want to ask you about Birmingham. Like, how long have you been there?
Since under 9s.
Is that the first team you was part of, like academy?
Yeah, that's the first team and only.
Is that the only team you've been on trial at and all of that stuff?
Like, I was at 2 Sunday League teams, and then I was at Wimbledon Olympic first, and then I got scouted by Qford, and then I went to a tournament in Birmingham, and then the first game that asked me to come on the trial for 6 weeks. Then I went on the trial, and then they signed me up in 3 days or 4 days, and then ever since then I've just been at Blues.
That must have been great, man. Do you remember much about the trial and that?
Yeah, it was me, Jude, and my other friend Max, I think. And then me and Jude got signed, and then Max had an extended trial and then got signed then after that.
Was you nervous?
I think so. I can't really remember.
On the topic of Jude, well, not really about Jude, how does it feel being at a team like Birmingham where there's an obvious pathway where clearly Jude is showing age doesn't matter? If you're good enough, and you work hard enough, an opportunity will come. And it's easier said than done for a lot of you young players. A lot of teams, I believe, speak about young players and stuff, but they never play them. Birmingham, there's plenty of examples, past, present, and currently sort of thing. How does it feel being at a club like that where, you work hard, the opportunities are endless essentially?
Well, it's really good. Like, it just pushes you to try and get to the top. Because if you can see like one of your close friends are doing it, I mean, it just gives you motivation really to get to the top.
What's the toughest team you've played against, like, so far?
Or probably say Chelsea.
Why? Beyond the obvious. Why?
Like, hardest game we played in probably. The two good.
If I had to pick out a player, if I had to ask you to pick out a player that was one of the hardest to play against, who would you say?
What, from Chelsea? Or
Yeah, in
from,
general, like in general. I mean, you listed Chelsea as a team, but in like the hardest opponent you've played against, if there is any.
Hardest opponent.
Tough one.
Tough question. Hardest opponent. Probably one of the centre backs from Chelsea. I forgot his name, but he moved to Birmingham.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know you're on about. I don't know his name either, but I know who you're on about. That must have been tough. Who's the best player you've played with?
Probably Jude, yeah.
I mean, we can also. How good has Jude been? Because you're an academy player with him at the time. Like I can see it on the TV and see it in the games and stuff. But like, how good is it actually being with him? Like, how good actually is he up close?
But really, really good.
He's a ball. You're a baller. He's a baller. If I was a Birmingham fan, I'd be so optimistic about you lot coming through like that. I mean, I'm just hoping Arsenal can go for a couple of you, but we'll have to see in a couple of years. It brings me back to my other question. I believe, like, footballers, you see a pattern between people in life who are successful and setting goals. Did you set any goals at the start of the season for yourself?
Yeah, to break through into 23s, like be like in and involved with the first team as well, and what I've been doing as well.
And how far have you got in relation to them? Sorry, go on.
Permanently with the 23s now, and then just gonna keep progressing from there. Really.
What's playing on the 23s football been like?
Really quick, like you have to just quickly, like tempo of the plays. Different, really, really different to the 18s. So you have to just do it really.
Do you still play out? Obviously, you mentioned when you play up, you play out wide. Do you still play out wide with the 23s as well?
Yeah, play out wide.
What's the hardest game you played in with the 23s so far?
Probably like we played this Chinese team the other day, well, couple months back. But that was the hardest game because the players were big men.
Wow.
Just bigger, stronger.
Was it tactically as well? Like I could imagine playing a Chinese team, they probably play completely different to you guys. It must have been difficult to deal with.
Yeah, difficult. Long ball and that.
You don't sound like you're a fan of long balls at all. Oh man, this has been great. But my final question to you would be, it's a difficult one. I don't really know how to answer this, but what would you say is the strongest sort of, or the most important attribute you need to try and have any hope of becoming a professional footballer? Is it resilience? Is it something mental? Is it something physical? What would it be for you?
Probably say there's loads of things I could say, but like
it doesn't have to just be one. It doesn't have to just be one. You can list them all off if yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll say like stay motivated. Like days you don't want to play, just like play, be your best, be consistent, and just use your brain. Really, that's it.
I mean, that's fantastic, man. That's fantastic news and things. And I've loved doing this, man. I really appreciate you offering your time to speak with me, my guy. I mean, the only thing I've got to say on top of that is I look forward to beating you on FIFA. That's probably the saddest thing about all of this, man. But yeah, man, I wish you all the best in your career. We'll be watching you. And like I said, man, thank you for donating your time to do this with me, my dude, man. Stay safe.
Yeah, it's fine.
No worries, man. Take care.